Hello and welcome to another commentary Lorcana gameplay video. Today we are taking a look at round 2 of the Lorcana Cross-Continental Challenge, where we see Dinh from the EU is up against Bivens from NA. So I would say we jump right into the game and take a look how this one goes. So starting off, Dinh is playing a Vision to the Future into the ink and is then playing a Popsicle to draw one card. Back to Sek here. So he is inking a Strength of the Raging Fire and is playing down a Daisy Duck on his first turn. He is inking a Tamator and is playing down the Sail the Asteroid Sea, which is a new card which allows you to draw a card and then ink another card from your hand into your inkwell. And he is inking another Vision to the Future and plays a Vitalis Sphere for 1 ink. Back to Sek here. We see a quest of the Daisy Duck, which triggers a Madame Medusa. And then we're seeing a Cinderella getting inked, then a Piglet hits the field from Sek. Back to Dinh here, which is now at 3 ink on his third turn already. He's playing the Brawl on the Piglet, I would imagine. Yeah, Piglet is banished. And then we're seeing a Flavor Sham hitting the inkwell and then passing it back to Sek. So Sek starts by questing with the Daisy Duck, which triggers a Big Sisu on Dinh's side. So Sek is already at 4 lore right now, and is then... So Sek is inking a Rapunzel on his third turn, and then playing the Gaston, which is also a Singer 5 as the Ariel, but because he has his 3/3 stat line, he is not so easy brawlable. Back to Dinh, he is inking a Brawl, and then plays the Maui to get rid of the Daisy Duck, which quested already for 4 lore for Sek's side. So Dinh is still at 0 ink, and Sek is at 4. Dinh has 5 ink available versus 3 on Sek's side. And now it's back on the 4th turn of Sek. Let's see what he's doing here. Okay, so he's inking a Nala. And then plays down the new Pluto. 1/5 character, which quests for 1 and has the Bodyguard. And if he has no damage on it, he has 4 strength more, so it's a 5/5. And then we're seeing the Gaston sings A Whole New World, discarding a Sisu Be Prepared on Dinh's side here. So... yeah, nice protection here. And now if Maui wants to challenge the Pluto, Maui would get wrecked by itself. Now let's see what Dinh is doing here with this new card and also new options he has available to work with. So we're seeing a Grammatala hits the field. He grabs himself another pre-prepared of the Grammatala. There is a line where he could use the Vitalis Sphere on the Grammatala to challenge the Pluto. And yeah, that's exactly what we see here, right? Vitalis Sphere on Grammatala challenges the Pluto. And now the Maui can get rid of the Gaston and still survive, so still a character on field. Then he inks a Tipo to put himself on 6 ink already. And uses a Popsicle to heal 2 damage of the Maui, just so he is safe of a Lattice Storm Rage on from Sek's side here. Okay, so now we're back. Everything seems good. So the Tipo got inked there, and we are at 6 ink for Dinh and 0 lore so far. And Sek has 4 ink to work with and is at 4 lore already. So we're seeing a Strength of the Raging Fire getting inked by Sek, and then we see Lawrence hitting the field. A 3-cost inkable character with a 0/4 stat line and quest for 2. And then we're also seeing 2 Nala hitting the field here for Sek, threatening some aggressive lore potential next turn, right? Good lore up to 4 with all the characters on board. Back to Dinh's side, let's see what he is working now with. He is at 6 ink, so there is the potential to ink something and play Be Prepared, right? But let's see what he's deciding to do here. So Maui sang How Far I'll Go, putting I think another Brawl into his hand and then inks a random card, we don't know which one. Then he inks another Tipo, considering to Be Prepared as an option here, right? And yeah, then we see a Be Prepared hitting the field here. Everything wiped off the board. And I think, yeah, also good value that the Maui sang the How Far I Go, right? So that's the best case scenario here for Dinh to get at least a little bit of value here. Back to Sek's side, we see now a Pete hitting the field as well as a Pluto and a Ursula. Wow. So, yeah, really aggressive turn from his side. So Zach is answering this with a Pete and a Ursula from his side. And then, yeah, we're seeing a... Yeah, so now we had to skip a little bit. I'm sorry for that. So, yeah, it's back to Din's turn. He is now at 9 ink available. He has a Medusa on the field, staring down a Pluto, Ursula, and a Pete of Zach. Zach is right now at 6 lore and has 6 ink available. We're seeing a Vision of the Future getting played by Din here for 2 ink. So there's the option for Be Prepared, and he grabs the Be Prepared. And yeah, then he's questing with the Medusa, and then he plays the Be Prepared to wipe off all the field from both sides. And yeah, passing it back to Zach here. So Din has now 1 lore and is at 10 ink, and Zach is at 6 lore and is at 6 ink. We're seeing a Lawrence and a Gaston hitting the field here for Zach, right? So yeah, passing it back to Din, and then he plays just another Be Prepared here. Wow, I think that's the, was it the 3rd or the 4th one? And then we're seeing a Brawl getting inked, and a Flavor Sham hits the field, banishing the Popsicle to draw 2 more cards here. Wow, so really lucky draws, I would say, right? Always have the answers to the field of Zach here. Yeah, now Zach is playing down a Pete and just passing it back. And then we're seeing a Vision of the Future hitting the Inkwell for Din, and then a Chromatala hits the field, grabbing himself another Flavor Sham. And then he's playing the Simba for 8 Don, and now shuffling up his ink, and then just drawing 2 random inks here, right? Yeah, perfect. And I think then he will pass it back to Zach, I would imagine. Okay, he's questing with the Flavor Sham. So he's now at 2 lore and 10 ink, and Zach is at 6 lore and 6 ink. And yeah, Zach is starting off with a Daisy Duck. He will then quest with the Pete for 1, so he's now at 7 lore, and then passing it back to Din here. He is now playing down the Lucky Dime. He's then using the Vitalisphere, questing with the Flavor Sham, banishing the Vitalisphere, drawing 2 more cards. He draws into 2 Tamatoa. Then he will use the Lucky Dime on his Simba, puts himself at 7 lore already, quests with the Simba, so now he has 11 lore already. Then is playing the Brawl to the Daisy Duck for 2, and I would imagine that he downwards plays Tamatoa, I would imagine, right? Inking another Tipo here, and then he plays down a Tamatoa here, grabbing the Popsicle, and I think, yeah, that's just lethal for next turn, right? I think there's no way that Zach can answer this field, especially with just 1 card in hand. And yeah, scoops it up, so Din is, yeah, advancing to a 1-0 score against Zach here. And I would say let's jump right into game number 2. So now Zach is starting this game by inking a Ursula and playing down a Cinderella as his 1-drop. Din on the other side is playing the Vision to the Future into the Inkwell and then passing back to Zach. Questing with Cinderella for 1, then inking a Rapunzel and plays a Mr. Smee on his 2nd turn. Back to Din for his 2nd turn. He's inking a Flavor Sham and plays the Sadie as a Seed, draws on a card, and then back to Zach. He is questing with both of his character, puts him already at 4 lore and at 2 ink, and he can still ink for the turn and play maybe another 1-drop or preferred like a Gaston or Ariel, right? Now we're seeing a Lawrence getting inked and a Gaston getting played by Zach here. So this is the preferred 3rd turn play for Zach, right? Getting this Gaston with his 3/3 stat line, so he's out of reach of the Brawl from Din's side. So yeah, great adaptation to the Steel Song deck, right? To have an option against Ruby Sapphire, against these aggressive brawls. Because if the Gaston would be Ariel, it would be an easy brawl target for Din on the other side. Now we're seeing a Tipo getting inked here, puts him at 4 ink, and then he's playing the Brawl on the Cinderella and probably passing it back to him, right? Yeah. Back to Zach. Okay, so he's playing down a Rapunzel, healing the 1 damage from Mr. Smee, drawing 1 additional card here. And then he's questing with Mr. Smee again, putting himself already up to 6 lore. Okay, no, he doesn't quest with Gaston, so back to Din. He is inking a Hideaway and then plays down the Maui and, yeah, getting rid of the Mr. Smee from Zach's side here and passing it back to Zach here. Now we could see maybe let a Storm Rage on to finish off the Maui here, right? But it looks like we're seeing a Piglet hitting the field. Maybe it's now a turn to go really wide, right? Because your opponent is not in reach of the yeah, be prepared. So we're seeing a Piglet and a Daisy Duck hitting the field, and then we're seeing the Gaston singing A Whole New World, discarding at least one be prepared from Din's side. And I think you will also play maybe some more one-drops here, right? And then quest with Rapunzel, I would imagine. Okay, so he is singing Let the Storm Rage On with the Rapunzel, getting rid of the Maui, and then also plays another Smee. So he's really wide right now, knowing that Din is not able to play Be Prepared on this board. Let's see what his options are. So we're seeing a Maui hitting the field, and he takes off the Rapunzel, taking 1 damage himself. And then we're probably seeing a Vitalist Sphere maybe getting inked. Then we're seeing a Vision of the Future getting inked, and a Popsicle gets... Then we're seeing a Vision of the Future getting inked, and a Popsicle hitting the field, drawing Din another card here. So Din is at 6 ink and 0 lore, versus Zack, which is at 5 ink and 6 lore already. And yeah, back to Zack's side, which is at 6 lore and 5 ink. And he has around 8 lore on board if he wants to quest with everything here. But let's see. Maybe he sings a Zeus with the Gaston to get rid of the Maui. Would be an option. Another card that would be really good right now would be Pete, right? Just to prevent his opponent from playing any Be Prepared for the next turn. So starting off with a Daisy quest, getting a Tipo into Din's hand here. And yeah, he quests himself up the way to 8 already. And there it is. There's the Pete, which is a really, really good card in this spot, right? Because now you can just quest with everything. He quests with Mr. Smee, he quests with Gaston, he quests with the Piglet, putting himself up to 14 lore already. And then we're seeing another Lawrence hitting the field. And I think now we're seeing the strength of Steel Song, right? Just because the Pete is able to hold back to Be Prepared from the opponent's side. So there's no threat of board wiping here. Because we also don't play a Quill, or we don't see a Quill in Din's side, we can't accelerate our ink up to 8, so we can't play a Sisu here. So I think, yeah, it doesn't look too good here, right? There aren't so many options here. Maybe a Vitalist Sphere and a Tipo is the best thing he can do here, right? But I think he can't, hold back that Zack is questing for at least 6 lore the next turn, right? So yeah, he packs up his stuff, so that means 1-1 in this best of 3, and I would say let's jump right into game number 3 here. So Din is starting the game, putting a Develop Your Brain into the inkwell and plays a Popsicle to draw himself 1 more card, and passing it back to Zack. So Zack is inking a Gaston on his first turn and then plays down the Daisy Duck. So Din is inking a Flavor Sham, playing down a Tipo and inking another card from his hand, accelerating his inkwell. So back to Zack's turn here. He starts off with a Daisy Duck, questing for 2, triggering the top card, which is a Flavor Sham, so Din gets to draw another card here, which is exactly what he wants to see here, right? I think the best case scenario for Zack would be if he top decks like a Be Prepared, right? Because then you know Be Prepared is at the bottom of the deck, and it's one less threat you have to worry about. Now we're seeing a Rapunzel getting inked, and a Piglet hits the field on the second turn for Zack here. So Din, decides to ink the Sail the Asteroid Sea, and is now playing down the Kramatala here, finding himself a Brawl, and probably passing it back to Zack here, right? Yeah. So right now it's 4 ink for Din with 0 lore on the board, and Zack is at 4 ink with now 3 ink on the board, because he inked a Rapunzel here, right? Plays down a Gaston and then quests with the Piglet and the Daisy Duck, resulting in 7 lore total. Okay, so he's inking another Flavor Sham, plays down the Maui here, and is then taking out the Daisy Duck with Maui and the Piglet with the Grammatala, and is then questing with his Tipo. So he's right now at 5 ink and 1 lore, up against 7 lore on Zack, which has 3 ink available, and a Gaston on board. let's see. We could now see maybe a Pluto here together with a whole new world potentially. Or maybe also something gets sang by the Gaston here, like it's used to maybe, yeah, KO the Maui on the opponent's side. So now a Nala hitting the field, which is a 1 cost with the 0 force deadline and quest for 1. Then we're seeing Ariel getting inked as well. And then we're seeing a Mr. Smee hitting the field, and then we see the Gaston singing a whole new world, refilling both players' hands by 7 by discarding the whole hand. And I think it's 1 ink, yeah, to work with. And he puts down another Daisy Duck here. So there's a lot of questing potential next turn, right? Let's see what Din is able to answer here. He has 5 ink available, so probably there's no Be Prepared this turn, right? So starting off with a Grammatala here, checking his top 2 cards, which is a Tipu and a Tamatoa. And he is, yeah, deciding to grab the Tipu here, probably to accelerate his ink here, right? He is then inking the Tipu, plays another Tipu, and is putting maybe a Tamatoa, it looks like. Yeah, then we're seeing the Maui is taking down the Gaston on the other side. And Tipu quested for 1, so Din is now at 2 lower and 7 ink, versus Sek, which is at 7 lower and 4 ink to work with. But I think he will quest for everything now and puts himself up to 12 lower, I would imagine. So starting off with a Daisy Duck quest, putting a Mother Medusa into the hand of Din. Then we're seeing, I think it was a Strength Raging Fire getting inked here, putting Sek Inkwell up to 5. Then we're seeing a Let Us Stormage onto the Maui. Okay, owning this one. Then we're seeing a quest with Mr. Smee and the Nala, putting Sek up to 12 lower in this turn. So 8 more necessary for the win. Din is right now at 2 lower, so it's like 10 lower behind. But yeah, as we are aware of, Ruby Sapphire, yeah, has the potential to rack up in lower really quick, right, with the help of Tamatoa and Lucky Dime. And then we're seeing another Mr. Smee hitting the field for Sek. So now let's see how Din is responding to this, yeah, white board here. Also a little bit awkward that Daisy Duck and Nala having 4 willpower. So this means that you need 2 characters from your side, a Tipu and a Grammatala, to knock out one of them, right? Starting off, he puts a Hideaway into his Inkwell. Nothing you need in this match at all, right? No locations and no items in Sek's deck here. They were seeing a Vitalisphere getting played. Mother Medusa hits the field, banishing the active Mr. Smee here. And now there is the potential to wipe off the whole field of yeah, Sek here, right? He is using the Vitalisphere to give the Mother Medusa Rush and +2. I would imagine he's now attacking into the maybe Mr. Smee? Yeah. Exactly. Mother Medusa takes off Mr. Smee, and then a Tipu and a Grammatala combination gets rid of Daisy Duck and the Nala as well. So yeah, nice turn for Din here, right? You could delay the win of the opponent tremendously here by wiping off the whole board. And yeah, Sek is responding with a Ariel to find a Let Us Stormage on here. So he is at 5 ink and 12 lower. Still needs 8 lower to finish his game here. He's then inking the Let Us Stormrage on. So he has 3 ink available to play with. And then he's playing down another Ariel. And grabs a whole new world here. Back to Din. I think now is the turn maybe where you, yeah, drop your Big Sisu here, right? Yeah. He is dropping the Big Sisu for 8, banishing both Ariels, questing with everything he has on the field, puts himself up to 7 lower, and is then inking another Develop Your Brain here. So Din is now at 9 ink and 7 lower, versus Sek, which is at 6 ink and 12 lower. So Stack is playing down a Pete, stopping any action card from Din, and then also place down a Pluto, but inactive, so no bodyguard here, and passing it back to Dinh, which has, yeah, 6 characters here. He can quest 4 Lord and also has a lucky dime in his hand, right? Makes sense probably to play this item now, because you can also use it on your Sisu here, right? Okay, yeah, so he plays down lucky dime, using this on the Sisu, and then quest with everything else. So now he's up at 18 lore, 9 ink, and what you gonna do as a sec here? He has 12 lore to work with, he has 2 questing power on his board, and I think there's just the option to, yeah, get rid of 2 bodies, I would imagine, right? But that's not enough. I think Pluto takes out Sisu, and Pete takes out probably maybe Chromatala or Tipu, and then you can maybe play 1 or 2 songs, but yeah, at this point, if 1 character sticks on board, yeah, you can just quest with it and use the lucky dime. So Sek would need to get rid of the whole board of Dinh, right? And even then he has the Termatora in hand, so you can just play it down and then use the lucky dime for the win. So if Sek is not winning this turn, he is then definitely losing the next one. And yeah, now we're seeing the Pluto, yeah, taking down the Chromatala, and then the Rapunzel healing off the damage to find some more cards. But yeah, there we see the scoop. So yeah, Sek got defeated here by Dinh. So 2-1 victory for Dinh, for EU. So yeah, now we're seeing another win for EU in the Cross-Continental Challenge. Puts EU at 2 and NA still at 0 wins in total. So yeah, let me quickly show you also the deck lists here and then wrap it up real quick. Yeah, so here we can take a look at the deck list of Sek Bivens, and let me also show you the one from Dinh. And yeah, here we got the deck list of Dinh with his Ruby Sapphire deck. And yeah, if you enjoy the content, subscribe to the channel, leave a like, leave a comment to help me with the algorithm. I will try to provide a commentary on all of the videos from the Disney Lorcana Cross-Continental Challenge. So you have one place here in YouTube to rewatch all the games if you are not up to date, to see them live on Twitch from the different content creators. So yeah, make sure to follow me on my channels, and yeah, I hope to see you on the next video. Thank you very much, and bye.